Good morning, everyone. Hope you're having a wonderful day. It is Tuesday, July 21st, and this is your financial news. Remember, our goal for the week is we are looking for 140 thumbs up, I believe it is. And to do that, we will answer your questions Saturday, 9 a.m. Have a lot of fun. Those are entertaining, and it's always interesting to see where your questions go and what you're interested in. So make sure you hit the thumbs up and, of course, put some questions below so we can have another fun Saturday morning together. So, what I got for you today, I'm going to call today a generally positive day. A lot of the news is generally positive. First and foremost, let's give a shout out to the EU leaders. They've been a topic the last 2 or 3 days after 4 days of, I don't know, marathon negotiations. I'm not really sure how marathon-ish they are, but I'm sure they were sitting in conference rooms a long time. It turns out I got some numbers I didn't have last time. It looks like 27, it says 27 EU governors got together to put this agreement together, so good for them. Looks like a $2 trillion deal, so they got it to be at the high end of what they were looking for. Kind of a split between grants and loans. Looks to be about 30% grants, 70% loans. Much of that will be raised in the public markets, and some of it via new taxes. They said that they didn't really give great examples of new taxes, but they did say that one of the ones that will certainly be hit is plastic. Right, they're going to be adding taxes to plastic. So this is just more. This should just be more evidence that these stimulus packages that are being created are going to be paid for by you and I, in the form of taxes. It is coming, and we're going to be paying this bill for, let's just be honest, decades. Right? This bill is large, and it's going to take us decades to pay it off, if ever. Another thing I saw today that I thought was pretty good news is oil, what they call WTI, has been range bound, kind of at the top at about $40. It popped this morning. It broke that pretty substantially. Last I saw it this morning was at 42. Oil is one of those indicators you watch because it's in a surprising amount of stuff, right? It's a part of a lot of things, and you all remember, I think it was 4 months ago, when oil went negative because of storage costs. Remember that, like negative $37 or something. Now it's at 42. Again, at $42, history says there's a lot of U.S. companies that can make money or at least break even, right? Where it was impossible below 20. So this is, again, good news. Again, breaking above 40 shows that we're coming back, right? Consumption and things of that nature are coming back. Old tech, as I called IBM, I think I said that on Saturday, was one of the earnings I was looking forward to. Came out and had better than expected earnings, at least bottom line, right? They had improved margin, as they call it. So good for them. Their new CEO really wanted to post a good quarter. So I assume everybody was rowing in one direction so that this new CEO could come out of the gate strong. So good for them. Coca-Cola came out. Unlike Pepsi, who has the snack brand Frito-Lay, Coca-Cola's profit was down 33%. They did do a fair amount of talking up the second half. However, I was disappointed that they didn't give guidance. They spent a fair amount of time, at least based on what I read, talking about a pickup in demand. So much so that I was like, oh, they're going to come out and give forward-looking guidance, but they did not. And I still wonder, when does guidance come back? Yeah, I was disappointed, I have to tell you that. One thing I am excited about, if you've been watching this channel for any length of time, you happen to know that I'm a basketball fan, season ticket holder to the Warriors. And right now, there has been, as of this morning, knock on wood, there's been zero positive tests inside the NBA bubble. which is I'm going to take a sign of great news. And we are quickly getting to July 31st, where we will have live basketball again. It's going to be weird to watch, I think. The game doesn't change, but you don't have the fans there. I wonder how the players are going to think. You'll probably hear them chatter and call out plays and stuff. It's going to be weird, I think. But, if you're a basketball fan, you're going to have up to 6 games a night to watch. And I'm going to be sitting on the couch watching at least one a day, probably, no doubt. And unfortunately, the Warriors aren't in it. They're the worst team in the league this year, decimated by injuries, but we'll see what happens next year. The eviction wave. This is a topic that is going to be discussed going forward. One article I read was really trying to scare people, talking about up to 40 million people being evicted. I don't know how they come up with these numbers. I certainly don't have great purview across the country. But yeah, on one hand, we keep hearing about 90 some odd % collection, and now we hear about 40 million people being evicted. And something doesn't seem right in all of this. Again, just fear mongering and scaring. There will certainly be evictions. I certainly have 2 or 3 that are coming or that should come based on people just not paying and playing games with me, working the system to their benefits. But if we have 320 some odd million people in the U.S., what is that, like 100 million families, or I don't know what it is, but 40 million, really? 40 million evictions? I don't see it, but we'll have some, no doubt, but let's not keep putting stuff out that scares people. One thing I did find this morning that I have been searching for is I was always wondering what the ratio of government-backed single-family home loans versus private. The reason that is important is because the CARES Act, if you don't recall, had forbearance outlined for government-backed, but not private, right? Private banks get to make their own choices. The one thing that I am asking for, or I was wondering, was, okay, how big is that, right? Is government backed 10% of all mortgages? 90%? I didn't know. But I found it this morning. 70% of single family mortgages below the jumbo limit are government backed. So it's bigger than I expected. I guess I expected 50-50. Again, I had no idea. I never looked for that variable before. But again, 70% of single family homes are government backed. And again, it's more than I expected. So the forbearance that we talk about all the time and the delay and the creation of a second and all of that is going to help more people. And again, as I've been talking about recently, hide pain. The Treasury and the Fed have successfully hidden pain. And in the single family home market, they're doing a really good job. The pain is being hidden really well. And with 70% of all mortgages that direction and the ability to have 6 months and up to a year, I think they're going to hide the pain. I don't think we're going to have a huge wave of short sales and foreclosures. I just don't. We have asset prices rising so that even if you are in trouble, there's a good chance you're going to have equity so you can get out basically, without a huge impact. And if there is an impact, it'll be percentage points, right? So if you have $100,000 mortgage, you sell your place for 105, the delta's, you're upside down $5,000. The bank takes a $5K hit. It's not like they take a $105K hit. So that's interesting. And again, this was good news to me as somebody who cares about, the average person. Knowing that 70% of the mortgages are government backed is good news to me. I would certainly be more concerned if it was the other way around. So that's good news. Good old Susie, I think that's what she calls herself, Susie Orman, Susie, right? Susie Orman. She was quoted today saying something crazy, that this is 50,000 times worse than the Great Recession. Clearly, she was throwing out that number to get a headline, and it worked. I clicked on it, right? Susie Orman says 50,000 times worse. I'm like, oh, what is she saying? Basically, her standpoint is valid, right? This particular crisis impacts more folks, right? The Great Recession was very kind of real estate oriented and cascaded that way. This does affect everyone. It affects a lot of industries. So it is certainly worse. I would call it different. Comparing the Great Recession with this is they're not really the same thing, right? One is a health crisis, and one was I don't know, a financial crisis maybe. But yeah, it is. It's definitely worse. Um, it's definitely worse. 50,000 times worse. That's that's a little much. Is it 5 times worse? Probably, right? More people, more industries, but 50,000 times is headline grabbing, so good for her. Next thing we're going to be talking about, I think, at least for probably be a topic for the next 2 or 3 weeks for you and I, um, is when does the stimulus get passed? I think there's general agreement that one will be passed. I think they're arguing at this point about a lot of things, unfortunately. I think the bill for this package will be somewhere between $1 and $3 trillion. I think the Senate wants 1 and the House wants 3, so it'll be somewhere in the middle. I think this package is going to be pretty harsh. It's going to be it seems like they're on very different sides of the spectrum, and unfortunately, time is short. Time is short. Right? A lot of what is in place expires the end of the month. It will take weeks for anything new to get kind of in the system. And earlier in this video and in many videos before this, we talked about how they've hidden pain. If they are not careful, if they meander through this and throw barbs at each other, and this doesn't get done till mid-August, which means nothing hits until September, it's going to get really, really uncomfortable. It's going to be really uncomfortable. So we'll see. I don't have high hopes. I don't really even have an opinion what I want in or out of it. I just know that let's help the people that need help. The one thing I know I don't want to send $1,200 to every American. Even if we have 20% unemployment, that still means 80% are working. We don't need to keep writing checks that we got to pay for in the future. Let's try to be a little bit more focused where help is needed, please. More pain that the big cities are in trouble. I think this health crisis is going to once again prove space is good. Where people rush from the suburbs to the cities, I think we're seeing a rush out. The cities won't be the cities for a while. Big cities are feeling the brunt of unemployment, right? New York City, over 20%. LA, just shy of 20%. Chicago, 18%, I think I saw. So again, the big cities are in trouble. And, the people with the financial means are leaving. The big cities really could be in desperate shape here in a year or so. If you want to look for silver lining, rents will be cheaper. That's some good news, I guess. And then last thing, I did see that LinkedIn is cutting 6% of its staff. I think one of the things we're going to see in tech, and I'll throw LinkedIn in the tech industry, Silicon Valley, is a lot of people are going to use this crisis to get smaller, right? They're going to be evaluating their staff and their overhead and go, you know what? Do we need 100 of those? Can we get by with 80? I think we're going to see a lot of tech companies get smaller, manage earnings per share, and things of that nature. So that's what I got for you today. Again, I think generally good news, right? EU did their thing. Oil broke. IBM better than expected. A little disappointed in Coca-Cola not giving guidance. I'm excited about the NBA. Sorry, I don't mean to bring sports into this, but man, I got to watch some live sports. Again, 70% of mortgages are government backed. That was good news to me. So, all right. Let's have a wonderful day. Take care of yourself. Remember, 140 thumbs up. We're sitting here at 38 people watching. Hi, everybody. and 12 thumbs up. So we need some love. All right, everybody, take care of yourself.